Communication is where it's all at. And
Mhm.
sales is part of every single thing you do in your business, even at home. Think
Yeah,
about it. I
yeah.
want to go out to dinner tonight. Whoever sells the best gets what they want.
Welcome to the Sales Made Simple podcast. This podcast is dedicated to helping overwhelmed outdoor living professionals, landscapers, and hardscapers just like you increase your closing rate to over 75% without doubling your workload so you can build a seven-figure business that doesn't need you. I'm your host, Joshua Gillow. Let's dig in. Hello, everybody. This is an excerpt from an interview I did with Savannah Gresham over at Mill Creek Marketing. Enjoy.
Okay, let me ask you this. If someone said, Joshua, how would you define sales? If you had to write your own definition for what is sales, what is selling, how would you define that?
I would define it as a structure to build relationships.
Okay.
Yep. Because at the end of the day, that's what it is. We are working directly with humans, right?
Mhm.
In this world of trying to take all of our thinking and giving it to chat or to Google or all of this, that's great for certain tools. I love
Yeah,
chat. It's a
yeah.
great tool, but it's never, mark this down and make sure we look at this in 10 years from now. It is never going to replace human to human contact. We as humans for tens of thousands of years have communicated face to face, handshake to handshake. You're not going to tell me in one generation or even 10 generations that we're going to wipe that out. Think about how many fears, stories that we have about being scared about a bush shaking,
Mhm.
thinking like, oh my God, something could kill us. Well, we've killed just about everything on the planet that can kill us, right? At least in the United States, right? So if the bush is shaking, it's a saber-toothed tiger. Like, that's still wired in an amygdala, right? We still have these
And
defense
AI can't
patterns.
pick that up. I
You
can
can't.
face to face. Like I had a conversation with someone the other day. Everything's great, great, great. And then it's like your body language, your tone, something shifted. And I just directly asked, hey, you seem kind of like apprehensive all of a sudden. What's going on? Is it something I said? Do you have any questions? And then he's like, well, to be honest. And then I'm like, well, that's so helpful to know. I can address that. But if I have someone right now that's like, maybe I'll have AI start answering my phone calls for me. And I'm like, you don't want to do that. AI should never, 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 never stand in the place of human to human connection. It should you should be asking, how can I use AI to get things off my plate that allow me to spend more time building relationships? It should be helping relationships, not hindering. If you're using it in place of relationships, it's going to backfire. People are going to hang up the phone. They're going to be frustrated. It's going to leave a bad taste, So I completely
preach,
agree.
sister, preach. I mean, you get it.
I love it. He's telling me use ChatGPT to fix the tech issues of this call, but that's what ChatGPT is.
It's a tool. Just like a hammer is good for a nail, but you're not going to use it for screws or for putting windows in, right? It doesn't work for everything. And I believe that the future of our business, specifically high ticket, which is anything over $10,000, right? So that's most people listening here.
Over 1,000. There's some definitions say over $1,000 is high ticket.
I've seen it as low as 1,000, yeah, but in our world, we define that as over 10,000. Which, if you think about it, when you're selling a 99-cent widget, that is insane to sell that stuff. But when you're selling, $1 million whatever cards, it's not that big a deal. It's just one unit. But my point is that connecting with people, communicating, is not going away, no matter what these chat GBT things do. Or if you're going to use that for back end stuff back in the office to help out, that's perfectly fine. But never front facing, because right now we have this golden opportunity in our industry to stand out among every other industry there is. If we don't try to take that bait and we focus on H to H, human to human. This is not business to consumer, B2C, it's H to H. We have the opportunity now, because most guys and girls out there that start in this industry, they want to do the thing. They want to build. They're builders, and it's great. They're really good at it, but they don't like talking to people. Right? They didn't start a business so they can become communicators. They started a business so they can make more money and have no boss and get the freedom. They've always wanted to do whatever they want, whenever they want, with whoever they want, for as long as they want, and spend as much as they want. But it doesn't work that way. We got to become communicators. Again, we got to become communicators in order to get the goal of the freedom. We can't skip that part. It doesn't work that way. Not many people can skip that lottery. So I say all that because it's very important as owners here, or even guys, if you're on teams, is communication is where it's all at. And sales is part of every single thing you do in your business, even at home. Think about it. I want to go out to dinner tonight. Where do you want to go? Mexican, Chinese? I want to go out to that new steakhouse. It's like whoever sells the best gets what they want at the end of the day. And it's not because they're manipulating. It's because they can value stack. And I mean, there's all things we can get into, right? And why and how because humans have one deep question, deep, deep, deep down inside of themselves. We're self-serving, and we have to know that. And in that, the question is, what's in it for me? Right? Your customers are asking the same question. Well, I got 3 different contractors here. I got option A, B, or C? What's in it for me to pick one over the other? And if you can't create a discernible difference between your offer and everybody else's, if you're selling features like those other bozos are, and you're not selling on emotion or understanding what those features will give them emotionally, you're missing out, man. That's why you're stuck on price. That's why you're going out there, and if you're not the cheapest price, you're constantly getting pushed out. You're not like, oh, that guy's cheap.
They said, okay, you told me a couple months ago you're charging below the industry average. Is that still the case? He said, yes. I said, well, how far below? 18 to 22%. I said, well, do you do below average work? No. Do you do average work? Yes. Or no. He said, no, I think I do above average. I'm like, all right, so bare minimum, you need to be at average. And he's like, well, the thing is, I can close pretty much anyone I go see because I come in at the lowest. So it's just a no-brainer. And I'm like,
it's laziness.
I said, what if we found
laziness?
I said, what if we found a way to make it a no-brainer to hire you, even if you're the most expensive? That's what you want to focus on. And he was like, yeah, but it's fear. And he even admitted it. He said, I know, but I'm scared. And I said, start with raising your prices 10%. If someone can't afford a $3,300 lighting install, they can't afford, or in their minds can't afford a $3,000. I mean, it's not that big of a difference, but for you, it's a hill to get over and then realize, oh my gosh, I am worth this price. And it's worth it to them too. I'm not scamming these people. I'm saving them from going with the cheapest guy that is going to cost them more in the long run. So that's also good. Let me check to see if we've got any other questions that people have dropped in here. We're coming up on an hour. Joseph said, thank you for your answer as far as what failure means. So that's awesome.
Good job, Joseph. Keep going.
Yeah, I think, what I was going to loop back on was what you said about, sales is a structure for relationships. It's all about human psychology. And with AI, it's not that in one generation, everything regarding human psychology is just changed within 5, 10 years, 50. It doesn't even change much in 100, 200, 1,000 years. So I think that's such a good word of warning that we should use AI as a tool for, particularly in the back end, make you more efficient, help you write your SOPs quicker, things like that, get your first draft. But don't let it try and do relationships for you, because it's not human, it's artificial. So.
I want to leave your listeners with one nugget that I was slammed between the eyes with this morning when I was out rucking. And I always listen to stuff. I'm always learning. And it's something that Jeff Bezos said. And he said that with Amazon, they came to him and asked him, like, hey, so what are you looking at for the future? Like, what's your plans for the future? Like, what do you look at so you know how to direct this company back when you run it? And he says, guys, I don't look at the future. And the whole room was silent. They're like, what? It's like, I look at the past. He's like, but nobody looks at the past for stuff. Like, that already happened. It's history. The future will never be like the past. Like, those things won't happen again. He says, no, here's where you're missing it. When I look at Amazon, he says, there's two fundamentals that'll never change and haven't changed since the beginning of time. People want cheaper prices and fast delivery.
Right.
So let's focus on those two things.
Yeah.
We can't change who's going to be president. We can't change the new technology, AI. We can't change any of those things. But what we can focus on is what has always been true.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, boom, man, does that pull like a lot of, it's like string charts when they do like murder mysteries, like all these, like everything went boom, right to one. I was like, wow, that was a good one. So I'm like, all right, how do we work that into the outdoor living industry? Like, what are truths? What are truths that have always been true and will always be true? And to focus all of our internal dialogue and bandwidth on keeping them as our focus and not the newest, latest, greatest, shiny thing. Exactly. So how do we do that? Because that core is not changing.
Right.
Psychology, how people buy is not going to change.
No.
It may adjust a little here or there, but the core need, the hinge principle of that people will do twice amount. They will. It's pleasure and pain principle, right? So people will do twice the amount of stuff to stay away from pain than to seek pleasure.
Yeah.
So since we know that has been there since the beginning of time.
Yeah.
That is not going to change in the next generation or even the next 100 generations. So since people are already predestined for this, how do we show up as professionals, as communicators, to make sure we understand their pain? Because they're going to move away from that twice as often as they're going to go for the good stuff at the end, that pleasure. So if we know that as a principle, a truth, then dang, like, I know how to communicate. I know we got to get to pain first. If we don't understand pain, how can we possibly paint a compelling future?
Yeah, it's so true. What are they frustrated about? What do they not want? What are they scared of? And we have to talk about those things. Yeah.
We have to walk in there as leaders, not as order takers or like, can you please hire me, or desperate. We got to walk in as leaders. And that a leader does not walk in with his chest out telling you exactly how we're going to, that's bullshit. They've got to walk in as a curious person.
Yeah.
That detective, and start asking questions, because maybe you are or maybe you aren't the right fit for this project.
Right. Yeah, it's the principle of servant leadership. I'm putting you first. I'm really getting to know you. What are your needs? And I'm going to serve you and lead you through, this decision.
So talk to less people, go deeper, build relationships. Those relationships will fuel your referral machine. And you don't even need to talk to Savannah anymore. Sorry, Savannah.
We help with the referral machine too. We're big on referrals.
Yeah.
We really are. Yeah. Marketing and word of mouth go hand in hand.
They do.
Digital marketing and word of mouth. So thank you, Joshua. This was really great.